What's up, guys? This is Miasin. So, I realized I haven't made a Dark Magician video in like freaking 3 years. Good reason for that. The Konami kind of forgot that the deck even existed. But we are getting new support in Infinite Forbidden, and it kind of synergizes with Shining Sarcophagus, which is Yugi's deck, and Dark Magician was a Thames card. And it is definitely really interesting, so I'll show you guys a bunch of combos as well as the deck profile. And if you guys are really interested, I could also be making a testing video to this, because I know I made a poll yesterday asking you guys if you were interested if I started making a series where I just test every single deck that I showcase you guys. But on Edo Pro, it takes forever to have like real games, so I can only really do this if you guys manifest interest. So smash the like button. If we can get to 1,000 likes, I will be getting to making those testing videos. And with that being said, let's get right into it. Alright, so the first combo, very simple, assuming that I have Shining Sarcophagus and either Gandora G or the monster that I'm about to search. Look at what I can do. It's pretty nice. So I'm going to be searching this new monster, Dark Magician, the Ebon Sorcerer. If I have Shining Sarcophagus, I can summon it from the hand, and then I can obviously special summon the Gandora from using its own effect, and I can use its ability to destroy every other monster on the field, well, every other card on the field, and then banish them. Since the Ebon Sorcerer was destroyed, well, I mean, also Gandora G also summons a level 7 or lower monster that mentions Shining Sarcophagus from the deck, and then increase its level by the number of cards destroyed by the effect. And since Dark Magician, the Ebon Sorcerer, was destroyed by card effect, and there is a level 5 or higher monster on the field, you can summon it back, and then you can set a spell or trap card that mentions Dark Magician directly from your deck, and we will be getting Secrets of Dark Magic. And now we got 2 level 8 monsters, so even though this might look a little whack to do in Dark Magician, we can go for rank 8 like Draglubion, and then detach to summon Hope Harbinger. And on the opponent's turn, we have even more layers of interruptions, because we can go Secrets of Dark Magic, fuse into Dark Dragoon, so now we got Dragoon and Harbinger off of 2 cards. It's not too bad. This is something very simple that you can do in Dark Magician, and it is all thanks to the new support that allows you to play the Shining Sarcophagus engine in Dark Magician, which is pretty much like a free spell to send with Magician's Soul, so I'll take it any day of the week. Alright, so what happens if I have Nadir Servant and I'm good at the game? Well, first of all, I'm gonna have to activate it, and then draw 1 card with Garura. What a coincidence, I drew Shining Sarcophagus. Pretty good card in the deck. And Maximus is like insane in this deck, because when you send the Herald of Arclight, you can search Illusion of Chaos, which gets your stuff going. You can search any any monster that mentions Dark Magician from your deck or hand with it. So regardless of like what you drew with Garura, is gonna be something that you can also place back if you want to keep the Illusion of Chaos. Every single turn, it's like a free search from your deck to your hand. It's not like Rhoda where you have to like send it to the grave and everything. You just keep it. It's beautiful. Anyways, Shining Sarcophagus, search for the Gandora G, the Dragon of something, Dragon of Destruction. Actually, it's not even that complicated. Destroy the Maximus, summon the Ebon, and then normal summon the Magician's Rod, and then get your search for the secrets, set 1 pass, and phase summon your Ecclesia with the Titanic Lad that we foolished with Maximus, and then search for the Fleur de Lis. And on the opponent's turn, Secrets of Dark Magic infused yet again for Dragoon, and we also have Fleur de Lis on top of the Dragoon to serve as a monster negate. And this is what you can do with 1 card. You still have 4 other cards in your hand, so don't go thinking, oh, well, you're not gonna have a discard with Dragoon. I keep seeing stupid comments like that on YouTube. I don't understand how people can be so low IQ sometimes. But Yak Sign is because they're Yu-Gi-Oh players. Makes sense. Anyways, now I have 5 cards in my hand, so you better believe I'm making a fat board. Soul Servant, Nadir Servant, Magician's Souls, Magician's Rod, and Timaeus. Now the spell, the United Dragon. So yeah, first step, normal summon the Rod, and then get my search for the Circle, and then activate that, but also chain the Soul Servant. You don't necessarily have to chain, you can use Soul Servant first, and then activate Dark Magical Circle, because I'm about to stack my deck for a spell or trap card. Well, any card, I think, that mentions Dark Magician, but this only this only excavates either Dark Magician itself or a spell or trap card that mentions Dark Magician, not a monster. So it has to be very specifically a spell or trap card that we set here, stack in order to ensure that this can get something, because if you're just RNGing with this card, it's pretty garbage. Anyways, get your field spell, and then set your Eternal Soul. This field spell kind of sucks, so in other words, the best thing that it really does is get you Eternal Soul for free, and then you can pitch it to the graveyard to summon the Timaeus, because this card is kind of expensive. In order to summon it, you have to send very specifically a spellcaster monster or a spell or trap that mentions Dark Magician. You don't always have access to that, unfortunately. Anyway, special summon the, well, not really special summon the Magician's Souls, rather use its other effect in order to send it from the hand to the grave, and then summon back the Dark Magician, because we got a fuse using the Timaeus and Dark Magician for Dragoon, and then activate the Nadir Servant, send the Garura, draw 1 card. Doesn't matter what you draw at this point, because Maximus can get access to Illusion of Chaos anyways. Well, send the Herald of Arclight to search your Illusion of Chaos, draw 1 card with the Soul Servant, and then The Illusion of Chaos can search whatever, also doesn't really matter, can be something for next turn. And face summon the Ecclesia, search for Fleur de Lis. And just like that, I have a really fat board with Eternal Soul and Dark Magical Circle, so that's an interruption because I can summon Dark Magician, banish a card my opponent controls. I have the Omni Negate from Dragoon, and I have the Negate from Ecclesia with a really nice follow-up. Yeah, obviously this is not like tier 0 game breaking. It's still good enough if you want to play for fun. Pretty consistent, so I don't really have anything negative to say there. Man, it's been so long since my last Dark Magician video, it's crazy. Anyways, 3 Magician's Rod, 3 Magician Souls, 3 Illusion of Chaos, and then 3 Nadir Servant. Pretty much all those cards, they get something going to a certain extent. Nadir Servant obviously gets you to Illusion of Chaos, which then gets you to Magician's Rod or Magician Souls, which always does something cool. So yeah, these cards are nice. And some other cards that somewhat get your stuff going, I want to say Imseti, because that's a 1 card Draglubion into Harbinger, and then you got like a dragon monster so that you can fuse using the Soul Servant and Dark Magician, which is really nice, facilitates Dragoon, so that's really good in this deck. I know it sounds really stupid to play rank 8s in a deck where the main monster is a level 7, but trust me, bro, it makes sense. It's really dumb, but yeah, what I don't really have any good arguments to defend it other than play the deck and then you'll understand. But yeah, we don't really want to play too many Horus monsters, and we also can't afford the luxury of playing hand traps or floodgates in this deck. I mean, we kind of can, but man, I don't know, you can't really play Rivalry, you can't play Gozen, you can't play There Can Only Be One, because you do play some light and darks. You play some monsters that aren't spellcasters. So, I don't know, you could risk it. Like, I remember back in the days, people were playing Dark Magician as, you know, a deck that would just go Rivalry, Mystic Mind, Skill Drain, Summon Dragoon, and that's about it. Yeah, for them, that was Dark Magician. But, you know, we're trying to do some nice things. We're trying to play consistently. We're not trying to... we're trying to play like an actual Dark Magician deck, not like a Runic Stun disguised as Dark Magician. Anyways, 1 Maximus, 1 Ecclesia, 1 Fleur de Lis. I mean, I think I showcased really well why these cards are good in this deck. 3 Sarcophagus, obviously with your 1 Gandora G and 2 Dark Magician Diabon Sorcerer. This is the bare minimum that you need for the engine to make any form of sense. But even if you don't draw these cards, this is really good going second. This is how you can break boards. You activate that, you search your Gandora G, special summon, and then destroy everything on the field, which is a lot of removal. Anyways, the double Timaeus, obviously, yeah, allows you to fuse even easier into Red Eyes Dark Dragoon or into Dark Magician the Dragon Knight. This card's not too bad. It can protect your Dark Magical Circle and Eternal Soul. You really don't want your opponent to make you lose your Eternal Soul, because then you lose all your monsters. So being able to protect it either with Dark Magician the Dragon Knight or Dragoon is definitely welcome. But another reason why you play Dark Magician the Dragon Knight is because its name is always treated as Dark Magician in the field or grave. So sometimes you want to send it with your either Nadir Servant or Maximus, and then your Soul Servant can banish itself to draw 1 card because you do have Dark Magician in your graveyard. So yeah, keep that in mind. Anyways, the garbage field spell that doesn't really do anything other than get you Eternal Soul and then serve as a discard fodder for Timaeus or Magician Souls. That's really all it does, because we're not trying to play Dark Magician Girl in this deck. If we start playing Dark Magician Girl, we might as well play like Garnet Turbo deck. It's really not worth it. Again, I'm trying to make this deck as consistent, as clean, and as competitive to a certain extent as possible. If you want to play your deck your fun way, go for it. But I'm trying to play it my way, and I think at least with this kind of deck list, you're not gonna brick too much. As a matter of fact, you shouldn't brick, period. There are so many ways of getting some kind of plays started. Speaking of consistency, Upstart Goblin and Soul Servant, really nice combination in this deck. Usually I would be against playing Upstart Goblin in any deck that isn't like Sky Striker or Pendulums, but this is kind of like the exception to the rule because you get to stack your deck for something. So when you draw these 2 cards, it pretty much acts as a reinforcement of the army for anything that you want. I mean, it literally searches any card in the deck, these 2 cards. And then you also have the graveyard effect of Soul Servant to draw like 1 additional card. Now you're playing a 37 card deck, but you also have like so many other cards that can draw cards. I mean, Nadir Servant is sending Aurora, and then this is drawing a card. Imseti is drawing a card. You also can't play cards like Extravagance or Prosperity in this deck for obvious reasons. And finally, we're playing that 1 punishment just in case we don't really need Fleur de Lis and we want that Ecclesia to search something else. We don't really want to play too many trap cards because then the deck is maybe not good enough going second, and also a little too slow going first. Now you start losing to like Duster and hand traps and everything. We might as well just, you know, mitigate the impact that those blowout cards have against us. Anyways, for the extra deck, the Dragoon, which is the best monster in this deck, I mean, in the extra deck at the very least, but also in the deck overall. A Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, I'll explain why this card's there. Titanic Clad, you just send it with your Nadir Servant or Maximus or whatever, and then you summon the Ecclesia. Or you can also search the Fleur de Lis in case you have like too many monsters on the field. In case you have way too much money, you know? Sometimes we just suffer from success. Anyways, Garura, Elder Entity, Entis, and then Herald of Arclight. Again, makes sense. The 4 big Xyz monsters, Photon Lord, when you know for a fact that you might get Nibiru'd, you want to summon that over Draglobion into Hope Harbinger. By the way, you can also OTK in this deck just using the Shining Sarcophagus engine, just because the Gandora G can destroy whatever your opponent controls and then summon your Dark Magician, the Ebon Sorcerer, and it becomes level 8 if you only destroy 1 card, which is unrealistic. But if your opponent has like an empty board, then you can like set your own card and destroy yourself, and then you can make a Numeron Dragon with 9k attack, and that's 1 card OTK. It comes up every now and then, so you should still play it. Access code Selene and Dark, just so that you can turn like 2 monsters pretty much into a big monster that can clear everything. And then IP, SP, I don't think this really comes up, but the SP can still come up. Maybe you want to play something else over IP, like Artemis, that could make sense. And for the idea section, post game 1, you probably want to play more than 1 Dark Magician, because you can start getting hit by Bestials, and you do not want to have only 1 Dark Magician and it ends up in the banish. That would not be bueno. But even without the real Dark Magician, you can still special summon the Dark Magician, the Ebon Sorcerer, from the hand with its own effect, and that triggers the Dark Magical Circle, because it is still Dark Magician on the field, so that you can banish a card on your opponent's field. It's not too bad. And also, I think this becomes unaffected by card effects. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this should... Even this, like, fake Dark Magician is still unaffected by your opponent's card effects while Eternal Soul is on the field. It's really not too bad, honestly. But, unfortunately, this only special summons a Dark Magician from your hand or grave, not a Dark Magician monster. And this is only treated as Dark Magician in the monster zone. So if you want to loop something else that isn't the real Dark Magician, it's gonna have to be Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, because this is also Dark Magician in the graveyard. You know, just like how confusing the Harpy monsters and the Cyber Dragon monsters are sometimes. There we go. We have the same thing for Dark Magician for no good reason now. Anyway, some more cards that you can play. Gadget Trio, Future Silence. Just if you want, like, Shining Sarcophagus to search more cards. Because sometimes you only draw this and nothing else. Or you just want, like, more ways of accessing your engine. This could make sense. I tested it out. It's not, like, super trash. And then the third Timaeus, I don't recommend that. Palladium, Oracle Mana. Yeah, this card kind of sucks. Big Eye, Ebon, something. This deck is not supposed to be played as a rank 7 deck. You should be trying to fuse for Dragoon. I think this is the best thing that you can do by far in this deck. Dark Magicians, this card's actually really good. You can test it out. Eggmaster Packbait that you can send with Nadir Servant or Punishment for even more disruptions. This is definitely not too bad, but I think Elder Entity Entis is just better because you don't have to discard a card to use this effect. And then Unicorn, another Dark for no good reason, another IP for absolutely no reason. Link Spider, Imduck might come up like once every 10 years. You can turn a normal monster into a dragon, so if you want, like, if you have like too many Dark Magicians on your field, somehow this can become a dragon, and then you can use like this. And no, I don't even know I'm justifying that. Don't play this card. Relinquished Anima should come up like maybe once every 75 years, so yeah, might want to consider that. And then Super Poly. Oh, Super Poly is actually not too bad in this deck, but the extra deck space is kind of tight because you need so many cards to make Nadir Servant and Shining Sarcophagus. Both of their engines work. Same thing with the Horse Engine, because the Horse Engine also uses up some rank 8s. Even though I showcase combos where I kept summoning rank 8s thanks to Shining Sarcophagus, more often than not, you're especially summoning them with a Horus Engine. Just keep that in mind. But if you draw like both the Horus cards and the Shining Sarcophagus combo, you want to start with the Shining Sarcophagus stuff and then go into Photon Lord and then follow it up with the Horus Engine, just because the Gandora G also destroys your own cards. Well, obviously, that's part of the combo. I hope you guys can follow me. I know I'm talking really fast. I know it might be like complicated to understand. If you have any questions, just make sure you let me know in the comment section. I'll try my best to answer everyone. But yeah, finally, the last card is Magician's Navigation. A good card, just a little slow. It summons a Dark Magician very specifically from the hand. Its graveyard effect is remarkable. It's extremely good. Unless you can randomly send it to the grave with Magician Souls to draw a card, and or like discard it with Himseti. Just for like 3 value, I don't think this card's really worth it, because relying on having a Dark Magician very specifically in the hand, not the best. You want to Foolish discard and then keep looping it again and again with Eternal Soul and Dark Magical Circle. This is one of the big win conditions in this deck. Like these 2 cards, alongside everything else, honestly, and obviously Dragoon and the Nadir Servant package and everything. You have a lot of removal and a lot of layers of play. That's what I like a lot about this deck. Anyways, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's try to get this video again to 1,000 likes so I can start testing this deck for you guys. I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.